What's going on, everyone? So, the Boston Celtics are expected to pull off some trades this upcoming offseason and maybe even kind of try to bottom out without Jason Tatum. They're a team that might just kind of reset next year, kind of move off of, kind of the long-term salary, long-term contracts, let Jason Tatum kind of sit the year out, get him right, because obviously he tore his Achilles, and then kind of regroup, rebuild around Jason Tatum and potentially Jaylen Brown. Some talks and murmurs about them maybe looking to trade Jaylen Brown. We'll see what the Boston Celtics do. Now, the Boston Celtics have several players that can make a ton of sense for the Lakers. Obviously, it's the Lakers and Celtics rivalry. Like, is that something that would happen? But I think obviously it comes down to best packages. And what are the Celtics looking to do, right? Are they looking for, like key vets to kind of ride into the season and maybe kind of be competitive or, win a championship maybe with like a new structure? I don't know, right? Or are they looking again to kind of bottom out, want to kind of clean the deck, want to kind of clear the deck a little bit, where the Lakers might have the best value out of anybody, right? Because the Lakers have a bunch of expiring contracts. I mean, the Lakers could take on multiple guys for Boston and just kind of clear the deck for Boston in a way that other teams just cannot. So it just depends on what do the Boston Celtics value more this upcoming offseason? Kind of the ability to reset and, be able to retool in a year or so? Or are they looking to like, hey, let's just continue to stack assets, just get as many pieces and stuff, and then kind of just, whatever happens this year. And then when Tatum gets back, then we'll figure it out, right? Because depending on how that goes, depends on if the Lakers can get involved in a potential Celtics trade, right? But as far as like who I would love to see the Celtics target, I want to talk about the one that I want the Lakers personally to stay away from. I've already seen kind of murmurs and reports about. I've already had, comments and stuff from people, and that's Kristaps Porzingis. I've seen a lot of people like, oh, go get Porzingis. Porzingis would be great. I do not want Porzingis at all. One, obviously, what is his and Luka's relationship, right? Supposedly there was no bad blood or anything like that, but there were kind of questions about them fitting and working. It didn't really quite work out the way you wanted it to. Besides that, even if Luka's like, yeah, I'd love to have Kristaps back, he's unreliable. Guy can't stay healthy in the regular season, and he can't stay healthy in the playoffs, right? You see some guys that regular season, they're giving you like 40, 50 games, but they're almost like guaranteed to be healthy come playoff time. It's like you just kind of manage them during the regular season, and then you can expect them to be there in the playoffs. No, it's not Kristaps Porzingis at all, right? Like he's a guy that you can sit all year, and he still might get hurt in the playoffs. And he's dealing with I don't know what it is, but some type of respiratory issue or something, right? I mean, they were talking about like he can't breathe, like he's, feeling like lethargic, right? Like I just think that the Lakers should personally stay away from him. Obviously, I'd love to have Kristaps Porzingis, a real two-way guy, could spread the floor, knock down the three ball, right? The idea and concept of Kristaps Porzingis, I get, makes sense. He's on the right side of 30 still, right? So it's kind of like, okay, he's a piece that could come in, be a contributor for the next few years. But I just look at him, next year he's going to be making $30.7 million. You could argue, okay, well, he'd be an expiring contract. So if it works, great. Then, you're probably a really good basketball team with Porzingis, LeBron James and Luka Doncic. But if it doesn't work, yes, you could just let him walk. But I feel like the $30 million in salary that you'd have to send out, unless you're getting him for free, right? If it's something where it's like, hey, you're getting him for pennies on the dollar or something like that, or just essentially a swap, which I don't know why they would do that, because he'd be an expiring contract next year, right? I think that the Lakers should stay away from Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, again, he's a guy that just cannot stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's great. There's no doubt about it. When he's healthy, the guy go get you 20 points, shoot the lights out the basketball, right? Block shots, protect the rim, defend. Everything that the Lakers could want and need. But again, you look at it, he played 42 games, 57 games, 65 games. If he could play 65 games like he did with the Wizards, okay, fine. But again, it's really the postseason. It's really the playoffs that he's not reliable in. And the Lakers, they're a team that wants to win an NBA championship. So you can't get to the playoffs and then your third, fourth best player or whatever is now unavailable all season, right? And you saw that. Like Boston was good enough to win last year, right, without Porzingis for a good majority, right? But the Lakers, I just don't think are going to be that good to where it's like, oh yeah, we can just not have Kristaps Porzingis for half the playoffs, right? I just don't think the Lakers are in that position. So, who should the Lakers target? First off, Jrue Holiday, who I think would be easier to get, right? Derrick White, we'll touch on him in a moment, right? Because he's the guy I really like. But Jrue Holiday would be exactly what the Lakers need, slotted alongside Luka Doncic. And I know some people are going to look at it and go, yeah, but he's 34 years old, right? He'll be 35 in June. Lakers are trying to win now, right? If you were trying to, again, obviously it depends on what the cost is. If it's something where you have to trade, they want like Austin Reeves in a first, like it's crazy, good luck to you type thing. But again, it's all about what it would be the cost, right? You could look at it and your argument would be like he's making $32.4 million next year, then $34.8 million the year after that. And then he has a player option of $37 million. He'll be 37 years old that season. Like he's not going to opt out of that. Right? Like he's going to take that. So we're helping you get off of that salary, get off of that long-term salary, $32 million, right? But Jrue Holiday still is one of the best guard defenders in the league, one of the best point of attack guys in the league, and is exactly what you need, slotted alongside Luka and LeBron. He's a guy that, again, he's a veteran. He's been there. He's done that. He can have big games. He can have big nights. He's a guy that you can easily just slot in alongside Luka. You could go something like, Luka, Jrue Holiday, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and then go get that center. Whether maybe it's like a Clint Capella that you're signing, or maybe you could still go pull off a trade and go land, a Daniel Gafford or something like that. Now, all of a sudden, you got this like versatile defensive team that can switch and do multiple things slotted alongside Luka, right? Jrue Holiday is a guy that can knock down the three ball with consistency. I don't want to play like Boston does, but, Jrue Holiday he's the prototype of that point of attack 3-and-D style guard. Even at his veteran age, right? He's still good enough. His talent and skill isn't like solely relying on athleticism, right? He's a guy that I think could be a real contributor, buy in, understands his role, knows his role, plays the role well. Again, it just boils down to me of what is the cost, right? But again, this is a guy that is a career 37% three-point shooter on 4 attempts per game. You look at last year, 5 attempts per game. His three-point shooting was down 35%. But you look at the previous year when Boston won the championship. He had 4.7 attempts, shot 42.9%. So basically 43%. You look at the last 4 years previous to this year, it's all 39 to 40% in three-point shooting. He's going to be slotted alongside Luka and LeBron. Right? The looks that he would get, the quality of shots that he would get, I fully expect him to get back to being that guy. He's a guy that can go get you, a steal and a block a game. He's a guy that go, again, be that point of attack, be that kind of anchor to the defense, a veteran guy that you can trust and rely on. You're not going to have to worry about him, playing out of his realm or anything like that, right? If the Lakers want to win right now, within the next year or two, right, while you have LeBron, then I do think getting a guy like Jrue Holiday, obviously I would love some young guys. I'd love to go get a Dyson Daniels or a Jalen Suggs or something like that, but I just think that it's going to be a lot harder, right? I think it's something that, yes, I'd love to have more for the long-term element and aspects and still provides that, but I think a guy, Jrue Holiday, given his age, a Lakers that are a veteran team that are trying to win sooner rather than later, and then when LeBron leaves, kind of retool, right? Like Jrue Holiday kind of lines up with that, where, you're trying to kind of push chips in right now, win a championship, and then when LeBron leaves, Jrue Holiday's money falling off, or he's a big expiring contract that you can now use to go and leverage to go get somebody else, right? Maybe you get that other star to pair alongside a Luka Doncic, right? I just think that is something that is at least worth looking into, at least worth looking at. But obviously Derrick White would be my favorite acquisition. I think that'd be most people's favorite acquisition if you could from the Boston Celtics. Derrick White's 30. He'll be 31 in July, so he's still young enough to where you could have him for the next handful of years. Now, he's not as good at the point of attack as Jrue Holiday is. Derrick White is excellent and one of the best as far as like help defense and kind of being that blind side, weak side help. Like it's how he gets most of his block shots. Right? He's one of the best shot blocking guards in all of basketball. He is a very good defender. I don't want to undersell Derrick White and his defensive impact. The guy is one of the best guard defenders in the league, but as far as like the point of attack being your main defensive, anchor on the perimeter, he's not really as good as Jrue Holiday is. Jrue Holiday is just better at that, at just sticking with guys and defending in space and, applying that pressure. But Derrick White, again, 3-point shooting, right? The defense overall, just kind of playing in a team defensive scheme. Same thing that I was talking about. Can you go get a Daniel Gafford and then go with the Dorian Finney-Smith if you have to? And now you just got this defensive anchorage. And you look at next year is when his contract kicks in. He'll be making $28.1 million next season. Then it goes to $30 million, then it goes to $32.5 million, and then he has a player option of $34.8 million, which is still cheaper than Jrue Holiday's, and he'd still be younger. He'd be 3 years younger than Jrue Holiday at that time that he would more likely not opt into his player option. So I just think he's a guy that makes as much sense as possible, but I think that they would get a better return than the Lakers would be willing to pony up for a Derrick White, right? I don't think the Lakers, like Boston, something like that, they're probably going to want a, Austin Reeves, stuff like that. And you can make an argument they'd probably be right to do that. Again, he's one of the best two-way guards in all of basketball, can shoot the lights out of the basketball. Guy that can just defend multiple positions and do it at such a high level, right? Be the help side. He's healthy, played 82 games, 73 games, and 76 games the 3 years that he's been with Boston. And then when he went from San Antonio to Boston, he played 75 games. So literally the last 5 years, the guy's given you 70 to 75 games a season. You look at his 3-point shooting. He's a career, again, 37% three-point shooter, but you look at the last, 3-4 years, he's been shooting around 38 to 30 to 40% from three-point range. So again, and he's doing it on good volume, right? Last year, he shot 38.4% on 9.1 attempts, right? And then, 2-point range, 59.3%. He's a guy that gets you 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, a block, and then 16.4 points. So he's a guy that could easily come in, slot in, and kind of be that two-way guy. Another guy that would just be beautifully slot in alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James. I'd love to get those guys. For being honest, I don't think the Lakers are probably going to be able to pull any of those guys off. Maybe the Kristaps Porzingis, because I just don't know what his market's going to be. Jrue Holiday, potentially. Derrick White, I don't think, but you never know. Right? Again, at the end of the day, what is Boston valuing? Right? Do they want to just have a bunch of expiring contracts and they're like, hey, if we can just get off of Derrick White, get off of Jrue Holiday's contract, right? We can bring in these guys from the Lakers, right? They're expiring contracts, and then we can kind of, reset the deck once Jason Tatum gets back. Then fine, right? Maybe the Lakers do have a leg up in that regard. We'll see. Time will tell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of going after some guys from Boston? Do you think, stay away from those guys? However you feel either way, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.